One of the most crucial and important things that you're going to need to do within the first 12 hours of launching a coin in the Believe app is being able to communicate to the community what your project is about. Luckily for you guys, there is a very awesome feature in X that everybody is super interested in listening to called Spaces. But having a successful Spaces is going to be crucial to how successful your project is because we've had seen some launches do really good with some really good spaces, and we have seen some spaces that, even though the project is good, kind of mess the roadmap and the trajectory of the actual project. Today, I'm going to walk you through on everything you need to know about spaces, how to run them properly, what to get ready for with questions you might arise, so you could be prepared and have a good space so your launch goes as accordingly as can be. So, one of the first questions that a lot of newcomers might have, or some of you guys who are more familiar with X might already know, is what exactly is X Spaces. Think of X Spaces like a town hall or a podcast where you will be able to not only address the people who are interested in investing in your product, but also answer questions that might arise within your product. For example, what do you plan on doing with the token? How long has the company been active? Who the dev is? All those questions could arise. You just need to be prepared for when those questions come. But the first thing you want to do is make sure you have a proper spaces. One of the first recommendations I could do to have a proper space is try to do this at least, or have the person that's going to be hosting or speaking for you to be able to have a proper setup and a decent microphone. And also, I would recommend that they be on their PC to be able to host a space. We've seen multiple spaces that have been hosted on phones, and these are actually not that great because not only does the audio tend to cut off, but the quality seems very, very bad. And this throws off an investor. Of course, try to be as professional as you can be to make sure you have a successful space. After you have your microphone sorted and everything is ready to go, make sure you have that the person who's speaking understands what your project is, where it's going, and number two, how do you plan on integrating the actual token or the actual coin into either your app, your website, or how do you plan on doing your launch if it's a coin, if it's a company or a product that hasn't been done already. So, how do you set a proper spaces? First and foremost, you're going to have an X account, which if you watch the previous videos, you guys should already know how to set this up. One of the most important questions that a lot of people don't know the answer to is, where do I host my spaces? Because what tends to happen is whenever a project launches, usually the developer on his personal account will tweet out and say, I launched this coin. Let's give you guys a perfect example. Let's say, for example, Alan, who owns Pump Fund, is the developer behind Pump Fund. He will come on his X account and he will type, I am launching a coin for Pump Fund. This is me. I am the developer. This is the actual product. This is the CA of the actual product. And the question now becomes is, do I do my spaces on my personal account, here in this case being Alan, or do I actually do it on the account of the actual company? In this case, an example, it is Pump Fund. The answer to this is crucial because this is going to determine a successful launch. You're going to want to make sure you host your spaces on the main account of your company. In this case, it would be in Pump Fund. The reason for this is because this gives your company validation. In addition to that, it also certifies that the developer who is running the company, or the developer who's launching the coin, is indeed in charge of the actual account that is, primarily their main account. So in this case, Alan would host the space on Pump Fund, and he would be the main host of the actual space on the Pump Fund Twitter account. This will give validation to not only the dev, but it will give validation to the actual product itself. Now, I know some of you guys are asking the question, yes, but if I host it on the main account, does that mean people are going to know that I'm actually speaking on that account? And the answer to that is yes. When you host a space, everybody that's following you, for example, everybody that's following Alan, will be able to see that he's actually on his spaces on the Pump Fund, on the Pump Fund account. So everybody that's following him will be able to know that he's hosting a space. So how do you host a space? Well, first things I want to recommend is make sure you guys do this on the PC. At least the person who's going to be in charge of hosting the space, you're going to go to the left hand side of your X. And on the left hand side of your X, you're going to see the More tab. Within the More tab, you're going to click More and you're going to see where it says Create a Space. When you click this Create a Space, this is going to give you a pop up and allow you guys how you want to run your space. One of the things I recommend is always click on Record Your Space. The reason why you want to record your space is because this is going to give you the ability to go back and see if anybody asked a question that you probably couldn't answer and you might want to reply to them via text or want to make a thread on it on your profile. The other two is you want to make sure that maybe you met someone that could help you with further your launch, so you want to make sure you keep that in mind. So always click record. That's going to be super important. Number two, it's going to ask you who could actually speak on your space. You're going to have a couple ones which says only people you invite to speak, people you follow, or everyone. You're going to want to make sure you keep this on where it says only people you invite to speak. It's going to be crucial here because that's going to allow you to determine and have control of your spaces. The reason is if you lose control of your space, things could go really bad. And I've seen a couple spaces where people have set this incorrectly and the space goes completely wrong. You're going to want to make sure that your space that you're running is controlled by you and the people who are also going to be helping you. One cool thing about spaces is it gives you the ability to have co-hosts, up to two co-hosts, that can help you manage your account. So you have a primary talker or speaker, which is the host, and then you can have two additional co-hosts that can help you kind of keep track of the spaces. So you're gonna go where it says only people you invite. In addition to that, it's gonna ask you what do you want to talk about. So you're gonna be able to go ahead and say, for example, on this launch, we could put Pump Fund Launch or Pump Fund Live or Pump Fund Q&A, Pump Fund AMA, whatever you want to go ahead and put. Usually you want to make sure you highlight the product that you're going to be talking about and what you're going to be doing within that project. Maybe just giving information, maybe it's an MAA, maybe it's a Q&A, or you're just giving, like Pump Fund Launch. Anything that, could be eye catchy would be amazing. In addition to that, you go where you go and click on add topics. Now, add topics give you the ability so you can not only get into the eyes of the people who are following you as a dev, the eyes of the people who are following your main, business account, but you could also get into the eyes of people who might be interested in your product. Whether your app or your website is about finance, sports, technology, career, or it ties any of the three in together, you're going to be able to pick whatever you want. So, for example, in crypto, you could pick business, you could pick up startups here, you could pick, depending on what business media, or you could, and then if you could, say, okay, I want to go look at anything else that has to do with fitness because my product is about fitness, and it'll save it and it will add the three topics into your profile, and this will distribute the spaces to more of a wider audience than the ones who are currently following you. As a pro tip, I want to give you is if you are actually following, and you should already done this, other accounts that are with native to crypto, then this will help because if that particular account joins your space, the people who are following that particular account will be able to get notified that that person is in spaces. For example, let's say Pump Fund was hosting a space and I am following Pump Fund and I see it and I join that space. Everybody that's following me will then be able to see that I'm in this space and they will likely go see what's happening and why is everybody talking about it. In addition to that, you're going to hit record and you could go ahead and click start now. One of the most important things you could do instead of starting right away is actually schedule a space. So, for example, let's say your coin launched at 7 p.m. You want to host a space maybe at 10 p.m. Or let's say your launch was at 4 p.m. and you want to set a space at 7 p.m. Make sure you schedule it. Makes the coin super bullish in the sense that there is something people could look forward to and get answers to questions they might have about your project that they don't know when the coin actually launched. So scheduling one is ideal. What you want to do is make sure you plan accordingly to whenever you launch the coin and schedule a space within 12 hours from the actual launch. The shorter that period is, the better, because the faster you're able to relay the information to the people who are interested in investing on your coin, the better it will be. Okay, so now we have our spaces. Now it's time for us to create the space and show you all the really cool features you're able to achieve while running the spaces. It's super important that you do this correctly because it's going to kind of determine how successful your space is. And knowing how to do this is super crucial. I would suggest try to run a spaces like on a different account and test it out so you get a feel on how to bring speakers up, how to bring co-hosts up, That way you're not struggling to actually do this when you're doing it. Once you have everything ready to go, you're just gonna click where it says start now, and this will start the space. You're gonna get a thing on the top left hand side where it's gonna show you the volume and to for you to pick up your microphone. Just select the correct microphone, the correct speaker, so you can hear yourself or hear the people talking. Once you have that set up, you're gonna get a panel on the right hand side. The first button you're gonna notice is gonna be the one that has like a little pop up window. This one that's going to allow you to drag and move the chat or the spaces in any place if you want to put it on your left hand side, right hand side. And if you just want to snap the space back, you just click the same button. The other button right next to it is going to be the share button, and this is going to allow you to share the spaces in multiple ways. Post this pretty much will allow you to post the space directly into your X account. This is usually what a lot of people do when they start their space. They will post it, but if you listen to what I suggested here in the video, you pretty much schedule your space and this should be already posted. In addition to that, you get three more options when sharing. You get to be able to send a directly message. You're able to copy the link and send it to your friends, family members, or anybody else. And you're also able to share via, which is another share option that allows you to share it with multiple platforms. In addition to that, if for some reason you ever want to go ahead and change the title of the space, or if you want to go and change anything that has to do with the space, it's easy to do. What you need to do is you're gonna click on the three little dots, and those three little dots will allow you to go ahead and change the space settings. Pretty much what we did when the space settings was saying who could speak, when they could speak, and that will allow you guys to change it in case you want to. I wouldn't recommend changing it because we picked the correct one, which is only allow people to speak when they get invited. But if you ever want to change it for some apparent reason, I just wanted to share with you guys that you're able to do that. Once you do that, you are then given the option to change the microphone if you want to change the microphone as well. Now it's time to find out how you bring up co-hosts. You're going to click on the two little people icon on the bottom right. Once a person joins, you could either invite them as a speaker and invite them as a co-host. Usually your co-hosts are the ones that are going to be helping you with the space and the ones you highly trust, usually the dev or another dev member, someone that's working on the website. Those are the ones you theoretically would have as co-hosts, but you are going to come into the time where you're going to get people joining the space who are going to be requesting to speak. And it's going to be super important that you bring up the right people and are able to remove the people as well. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Once again, we go to the little icon of the people. You just select the person's name and you could remove them from co-host. And as you see, more people are joining. And when people are joining, you're going to want to make sure you filter out the ones you want to speak and the ones you don't. And if you're bringing multiple people to talk, you're gonna want to make sure you remove them. So super easy. So you can invite people to speaker, and it say someone that you want to speak. You just go ahead and invite them, and it'll pop up a list of the people who are listening in the space, and you're able to invite them. But in addition to that, you're also going to get people that are going to be requesting to speak, and you're going to be able to approve them or disapprove them as well. So you're going to need to make sure you're paying attention to that. When the person requests to speak, you're going to get a pop up that says right there that that person requested to speak. Okay, super important. And that way you are able to remove them and invite them from that position. In addition to that, there is another little button on the right next to the little heart button. This allows you to do little emojis. Not so much important, but as you see right there, we got someone that requested to speak. You can approve or deny them. If you approve them, they will be automatically added as a speaker. If you deny them, they won't be added as speakers. That's super easy to understand. One super important thing to note is whenever you start your spaces, you're going to be muted. So make sure you unmute. And to end the space, you just click on the top where it says end. I hope now you're ready to run a spaces and have everything you need to know on running a proper one. So all you got to do now is get ready and start your spaces.